Spoiler alert, the films we review on the Slashers and Screamers podcast are guaranteed to be spoiled in full if you listen beyond this point. If you've not seen the film we're reviewing this week, I urge you to find it and watch it to your heart's content before joining us. But if you don't care and just want to listen to fun conversations, then by all means stick around for Slashers and Screamers. During their Christmas break, a group of sorority girls are stalked by a stranger. The holidays can be some very stressful times. We're about to make it even more stressful with Black Christmas.
Groovy.
It's just a creepy movie. It definitely creeps you out for sure.
Somebody has to be perfect, so it might as well be me.
Talk about deja vu.
You live to tell the tale.
You gotta think like a werewolf.
It's the Slashers and Screamers podcast. James, what kind of smoke are you dealing with there, man?
I've
Something
got
you built out of a 55-gallon drum?
No, it's an electric smoker. Master Chief.
Not Master Chief.
It's a Master Chief.
Well, Master Chief is the highest rank in the enlisted sector of the Navy.
Also a smoker, apparently.
Well, yeah.
Well, this is the highest rank. This is the highest rank you can get an electric smoker, Bill.
You don't think that would be a Traeger? Is that electric?
No, I don't know.
I don't think they're electric. They probably don't.
They're not.
They're like electricity. It's not as primitive, or it's not primitive enough for them.
People make smokers out of weird shit on the internet, though. I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, that's why I asked if James had one made out of a 55-gallon drum.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Why is that noise?
I don't know. Like, James is probably shuffling through YouTube again to find a little song for us to get sued over.
I've got my own song this week, Bill.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's it about?
Christmas.
Oh, really?
It is December.
I'm dreaming of a wild black Christmas. I messed it up. Damn.
I might have to use that as the intro.
What did I just do that for free, Bill?
You did not do that for free. We've been on for about 2 minutes now. But what's funny about that is I actually have an opening. It's not recorded yet, so I'm just going to have to backtrack and change it now. But I was going to sing "I'm Dreaming of a Black Christmas."
Bing Crosby ain't got nothing on me, Bill.
Yeah, he sure doesn't. Is that Bing Crosby?
Probably.
Probably.
Dreaming.
He's the only one that sang back then.
Christmas.
The only one.
It's like the ones I used to know.
Yeah, it must be. He starred in the movie, I guess. I've never seen that movie. I guess that makes sense.
To me, the only person that sings that song is Kevin McAllister.
Who is that?
Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone.
Who is that?
Oh. I was thinking a real person, and I was like, I have no
Frank
fucking clue
Sinatra.
who that is.
Bill.
Yeah.
Old Frankie S. probably sang it.
Old Mr.
Probably.
Old Blue Eyes.
There are
Old Daniel Stern.
of the song.
Fucking Daniel Stern. You know what's funny is Daniel Stern might be one of the funniest people to never get talked about anymore. But I was watching this Washington football team game against the Las Vegas Raiders, and I swear by the day, Derek Carr is turning more and more into Daniel Stern. More specifically, he's turning more into Marv from Home Alone.
Oh, man.
Holy
you gotta look it up.
There are 500 recorded versions of White Christmas.
Oh yeah, it's the oldest song in the history of the earth.
I don't know if that's true. Frank Sinatra did do it.
Down.
True.
Yeah.
That was recorded.
Yeah, it's recorded and soon to be released. Well, speaking of releasing, let's release some news on what's going on this weekend. God damn it, James. You never have a thought until I'm in the middle of saying something, and then it just flies right out of your ass. I'll be mid-sentence.
James Brown sing your favorite Christmas songs. But I sing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
He sings them all in the chord of G. I don't know that that's a G. It was probably
chestnuts roasting on open fire.
I'm pretty sure that was all a G, just the volume got higher.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
I thought he said nipping off your nose for years.
You know who sings a great a cappella of Jimmy Buffett's, what is the name of that song?
It's not you.
I was saying, is it you? My guess was
Margaritaville?
No, it's not me. Yeah, Margaritaville.
Who?
My dad.
Okay. If it wasn't you, I guess we gotta go.
Somehow, I always guessed it was your dad.
We were at a cookout one time at my grandma's house, and this car salesman brings out a guitar and starts strumming Margaritaville. And my dad breaks out and sings the song.
So how do you know he does a good a cappella version?
Well, it was acoustic guitar.
Okay, so
Acoustic
so
guitar.
you're already misrepresenting your father.
Acapella groups everywhere are horrified.
If he hadn't had a guitar, if he hadn't had that guitar playing, it would have sounded lovely.
Oh, so the guitar ruined. Yeah. You know, Dad, that would have sounded great if not for this bastard over here.
That bastard with the guitar.
playing all the in-tune chords. Well, what's going on this week in horror?
I had to put a mailbox up today.
Shut up, James.
That's horrible in itself.
There's quite a few things that happened this week in horror, actually. Tony Todd's birthday was yesterday. We've talked about him a few times. He was in...
Oh, Candyman himself.
One? I was going to say one or more of the movies that we did. He was in Hellfest. Was he in another we did?
He was, yeah, he had that little bit part as the, I guess the,
like,
I don't know what
the announcer guy?
Yeah, the MC.
He's also in
the
new Masters of the Universe cartoon.
Oh, you did talk about that. I remember that.
Did you?
Yeah, he for sure did. He talked about it like 80 times.
Where was I?
81 to be exact.
81 now. Billy,
was I on that episode?
You are on every episode, so yes. I am the only one who's been absent.
I don't know if that's true.
I think it is.
I've been absent several times.
I don't think that's true.
Well, he's been absent. He started the episode, but he eventually faded out somewhere.
Oh, that's true. We've lost him a few times.
I was there, but then I wasn't there.
Well, that's like podcast inception.
Yeah, I had a mouse in my pocket. Brought me back.
Well, Tony Todd, every time I think about Tony Todd, yeah, it's easy to think about Candyman, because that was kind of his, I wouldn't call it like his breakout role or anything like that, because he was in the remake of The Night of the Living Dead. But I'll always think about 24. There was an early season, you know, the TV show 24, Kiefer Sutherland, etc. Tony Todd showed up as just a random detective on an early season of 24. And then like season 8 rolls around where they're in Africa with the guy with the child soldiers. And he's suddenly this African general, like same actor, different role altogether. And I just wondered like if he showed up to casting and was like, hey guys, you know, I'm already in this series. And nobody, was any the wiser.
SVU does that.
Do they? They have like the same person?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a thing of TV shows past.
No.
Give me the launch codes now!
Oh my god. No, SVU will do that like if someone's not famous and they do like a bit part in the beginning. In later seasons, if maybe they get a little more famous, they may have like a recurring role or just like a bigger part. Like they might be the killer or something.
I thought that was just a thing of TV shows past. Like Gunsmoke would do that.
Give me the launch codes.
God damn it, James. You're not going to get those launch codes from me or anybody. Only
another
Jack Bauer
important
can get
thing.
those.
I'm an nerd, God damn it. I need to know where the launch codes are.
That's every season of 24 reenacted by our own Godfather of Droll James.
You know, I've never watched one single episode of that bullshit.
I'm aware.
You always tell me about it.
I'm aware.
You need to watch the 24 with Kiefer Sutherland.
Is that how it sounds, James?
It's for good.
Casey, please.
On, exciting new thing, not new, anniversary of the Thriller music video, aka the first music video inducted into the National Film Registry, the most famous video of all time, off the highest selling album of all time.
We're talking about... Hey, James, you remember when Mr. Lewis used to play the Thriller on record? On record? When we would have these little...
It's the same Thriller.
There's not another Thriller.
There's...
Wait, hang on. Hang on, James. So what you're telling me, 1987...
Hold it.
1987, we're 5 years old, in gym class.
Out in 1987?
Thriller was out in 1982.
Okay.
So 5 years after this album, when did it come out? 83?
Come on.
So 4 years after this album comes out, you don't think our phys ed teacher, the only black guy in Westmoreland, Tennessee, is playing the same Michael Jackson Thriller record for us as children? Is that what you're telling me?
He was jamming out to that thing in his car every morning before school.
Like right there, like the record player right there in his pickup truck.
Got a Vincent Price coming on there first thing.
God, that was terrible. You know, I was so afraid of Vincent Price when I was little, not for any of the movies that he did. It was a liquid tile commercial that he had, like a bathroom cleaner. He was the spokesman, and at the end of the commercial, they would say the little catchphrase for the tile cleaner, and his eyes would glow. And the first time I saw that, I fucking came unglued and just ran out the room. And then anytime after I saw that, the commercial would just start. I would see that fucker on TV, and I was gone. I was just mortified by this tile cleaner commercial.
This week we also got the release of the images for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
What's that going to be? Is that coming out in theaters, or is that a Netflix thing?
I think it actually is a Netflix thing. I'm sure it'll be in theaters also. I think usually they're released side by side, but let me look.
Yeah, could be. Halloween Kills was like that on Peacock and in theaters.
Let's see.
I ended up paying.
It is going to be on Netflix. Intrigue.
Well, I saw that cast. Is this a still picture of that cast?
Is this
that's the Netflix cast.
What's new in horror today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it may as well be.
Have I got to come up with something?
Well, you did.
Sure could.
You came up with that singing earlier.
That's true.
That was horrific.
This week is also the anniversary of Krampus being released. I really like Krampus. Hopefully that's one that we get to later on.
Krampus, where is Krampus?
It's good.
Sometimes we got to create our own songs.
Yeah, when you don't have one already, you do need music. Music kind of sells it all. And if that song was playing while I was being chased by anything, I believe I would shit a brick. A literal squared off, ready to just build a house brick.
He's going to shoot a chicken. Did he go shoot a chicken?
Well,
he's back.
I probably saw Krampus. It was a number of years after it came out.
I just saw it last year for the first time.
I had a Krampus sitting on the toilet earlier.
I have it on DVD, so.
How's bragging camp going?
Owning something on DVD just isn't a brag.
So I just pulled this list up. 5 things nobody has in their home anymore. Number 1 is DVD.
I have a lot of DVDs.
I have a lot of DVDs.
They're cheaper than Blu-ray still. They're still sold.
Do you have a DVD player hooked up?
I have a Blu-ray player that plays DVDs.
I have same thing.
Well, hang on. I don't think that's the item that we're saying here. Just a straight up DVD player. Do any of you have one plugged up right now?
Yes, I have a straight up DVD player.
You've probably got a VCR plugged up right now, Rick.
I do have a VCR. Yeah, I do.
God.
I don't think I've watched anything on the actual put a disc in something and watched it in probably, I don't know, 5 years?
Well, I don't think Rick has either. That's why he's always saying, I've got that on DVD, but it's probably wrapped up. It's probably still got that little sticker on top of it that you have to peel off, and it takes 80 different little pulls. Well, mine always rip.
It's because you're bad at it.
Well,
There's only, I was into Redbox there for a little while, but that's been a while back.
I've been in the Red Tube for a while. Carry on, James.
So y'all want to know the rest of the story?
Sure.
The story or the list?
5 things nobody has in their home anymore. Number 1,
Yes,
I don't know if
DVD
that's the
players.
story.
Number
Damn,
2,
he's talking all fast.
CDs.
I saw CDs. I bought one last week.
Oh, there we go.
But you bought a CD last week?
You probably
Yeah, I did.
You probably still got that thing. It comes in the mail, and you pick 12 CDs. You get them for like 99 cents. Westinghouse. Was it Westinghouse?
There's like Columbia House, and
Rick,
he's
what
probably
CD
got
was
them.
it?
He's
What
probably
CD
still
was
getting them
it?
charged to his parents.
Number
Yes,
3.
Rick. Okay, well, guess we won't find out what CD Rick bought.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
It was Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz.
Why?
Why? Because Ozzy's the man.
What
That's
kind of
why.
question is that?
No, but like, why particularly that one? Did you find it somewhere? Did you order it specifically?
No,
it
I
is a
don't- I
random
don't
time
have-
to buy that.
That's a CD I don't have that I wanted.
But how did you acquire it?
Amazon?
Okay, so you deliberately sought it out.
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious if you like went to like I go to used bookstores and I see a lot of CDs there that I haven't thought about in a long time. I didn't know if it was a situation like that.
Anyway,
James.
James, continue with your list.
Number 3, filing cabinet.
My mom
I've got
has
a filing cabinet right now. Where's
I
it at?
don't.
Yeah, I've got a filing cabinet right under my printer.
I've got
What are you filing?
Well, that's HIPAA-related info.
important.
My mom has all kinds of shit in her filing cabinet.
Witches gather at black masses.
Just like witches have black. Okay.
A wall calendar is number 4.
My
I
mom
have
also
that.
has a wall calendar.
Yeah, I've got a wall calendar, but it's
Got a
like
wall
from
calendar.
3 years ago.
Why do you have it?
Forgot to take it down.
I feel like it's time.
I got a wall calendar at work with swimsuit models on it. Don't tell nobody.
If it's at
No,
work,
nobody will know.
Number 5, takeout menus.
take out menus.
I've
What do
got
you
a few
mean?
of those in my kitchen drawer.
Once a long time ago, you
Did
couldn't
you just write this list?
Once a long time ago, you couldn't get on the internet and say, "Give me the menu to such and such." They actually made paper copies, and when you went there to get your food, you got one. That way, the next time you had the menu.
Yeah, we had a China Walk menu at my house growing up. I know what you mean now. I don't know what I thought you were saying.
How are those not more abundant? That there's a list saying that people don't have them anymore.
You can
I've got
Google
about-
a menu for anywhere.
Yeah, but I've got okay.
Or like DoorDash it.
I don't think that this list is really accurate. I've got 3 of those 5 items.
Yeah, but one of them's 3 years outdated, which speaks for itself.
It just said the 5 items, and it said how many of these you got in your home.
Well, you ain't got to get hot about it, James.
I was just telling somebody something that maybe they needed to know.
Guys, this is the Slashers and Screamers podcast. We're a slasher sports production. We bring you a variety of works for your entertainment, from Milwaukee Brewers baseball to this very show, where we review your and our favorite horror flicks of all time. Find us on the World Wide Web at slashersports.com, on Twitter at slashersports, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at slashersportsmedia. Now, Rick, let's tell the public what's causing all this with Rick's rundown.
All right. This week we reviewed the 1974 film Black Christmas. It is a Canadian slasher. It was directed by Bob Clark. He's most well known for Porky's, A Christmas Story, Murder by Decree. This movie was only on a budget of $620,000. It grossed over $4.1 million at the box office. And the actors and actresses in this are pretty big, so I'm just going to go over really 3 of them pretty much. Olivia Hussey, she's an English film and stage and television actress. She's won a Golden Globe Award. She's pretty well known on TV and in film. Margot Kidder, she was best known for Lois Lane in the Superman films. She appeared in the first 4 of them. She was also an activist and a actress who won some Daytime Emmy Awards as well. And John Saxon. This guy doesn't need an introduction. He's been in a bazillion things. I'll just mention a couple. He's been in New Nightmare. He's been in From Dusk Until Dawn. He's been in Enter the Dragon. He's been in Death of a Gunfighter. He's been in a lot of westerns, a lot of films. I mean, he started in the mid-50s. This movie as well, it was released on October 11th, 1974. It's 98 minutes. I wanted to read a really quick anecdote about this from the book, and I'll give this guy credit. It's an awesome book. Our listeners should definitely check it out and give it a read. Go on Amazon and buy it. It's called The Teenage Slasher Movie Book. This is the second edition. It's by J.A. Kirkswell, and it's an amazing book. If you're into slasher movies, I highly suggest it. Real quick, Bob Clark's film Black Christmas borrows the earlier film's device of creepy phone calls, later utilized to great effect in When a Stranger Calls and Scream. He has a story of sorority girls who were being menaced just before Christmas holiday, and it's a masterpiece of tension, suspense, and horror. For once, the tagline, "If this picture doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight," isn't just for show. Both visually and thematically, it is very much a precursor to Halloween, with the young woman being terrorized by a killer in the previously safe environments during an iconic holiday season. Featuring a lengthy scene, it was shot through his eyes and he climbs in the sorority house. His film was actually unfairly criticized as being cliched on the release by the American film paper Variety, and they actually said it was a bloody, senseless, kill-for-kicks feature that exploited unnecessary violence. It was a modest hit on its release. However, its reputation and importance within the history of the subgenre continued to grow in the years after its release, and it remains genuinely frightening. So I was just going to read that because it's a pretty cool little anecdote on Black Christmas. But yeah, that's what we did this week.
Good rundown, Rick. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. I wanted to plug this book really quick that I think our listeners would like. It is called The Teenage Slasher Movie Book. It's by J.A. Kirkswell. It's the second edition. Go check it out. It's on Amazon for $24.99. It goes from the 1960s all the way to the newest Halloween in 2018, and it's chock full of awesome info that you would want to know.
Chock full.
Nice. That sounds cool.
It's the first useful thing you've ever done for me, Rick.
I know, right?
Set your goals high. Don't stop till you get there. Bo Jackson.
I very well may hunt that book down. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty awesome.
Well,
Bill,
I mean, what?
I was in the Christmas parade yesterday.
You were in the parade?
Yeah.
What the hell are you in the parade for?
I was pulling the float for the football, the Pee Wee football.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were dressed up as Santa or something. Why are you not dressed up as Santa? Why are you not, like, already the town's go-to Santa?
There's already a Santa Claus, Bill, and you can't have any live Santa Clauses.
Huh?
What?
There cannot be any alive Santa Clauses in the parade.
So the guy was dead?
Well, there's only one Santa Claus.
Oh, so no one else can do it? Like how at Disney World you can't.
You can have like a picture of him, but you can't have a live Santa Claus.
Them's the rules, I guess.
Oh, okay. Help me understand this. You're not allowed to have a guy dress as Santa Claus for your parade?
Billy, you have to let kids believe in Santa Claus, and if there's a million of them, they're going to get faked out.
There's already one Santa Claus, and everybody's waiting to see him, and he's in the very end of the parade. And you can't have a fake Santa in the middle of the parade.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm asking. Why can't you be the real one at the end?
Because I'm not the real one, Bill.
They've already got one.
Is that guy the real one?
Yeah.
Is there like a Santa Claus alliance, a North Pole alliance that I don't know about, where only alliance licensed Santa Clauses can? Because here's the thing: you got malls across the U.S.
The one.
You've got shopping malls across the USA.
Yeah, it's Union.
Mind is blown right now.
Not just anybody can don the red suit, Bill.
Well, like, what if that's ultimately what got Hoffa killed? Like, it wasn't the labor unions. It was like he impersonated Santa Claus one year, and a bunch of little elves came and kneecapped him and gave him concrete shoes. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Well, listen, Rick just told you. We're here to talk about Black Christmas. And no, not to be confused with like Black Dracula and, flicks like that, which, again, I got to talk to James Alexander about that because I would love to review Black Dracula. But this is Black Christmas.
Well, and
do you know?
Too.
Oh, excuse me. Do you know?
Oh, Lord.
Never mind. I'll let you talk. I'm just going.
With this movie, the initial release, it was titled Silent Night, Evil Night. because the American distributors thought that the Black Christmas title may have people mistake it for like a blaxploitation film.
Yeah,
but it was changed back. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's good that it was. I mean, I do like that, play on White Christmas.
Yeah. This is also a Canadian movie, which I didn't realize until halfway through when I heard someone say a boot. Had to go back and look that up.
Well, who said that though?
Don't remember.
Yeah,
Because
it was
Olivia-
shot in Montreal.
Oh,
Yeah, and
God.
apparently the majority of the people in it are Canadian.
Some Canadian said it.
Minus Olivia Hussey, who is Argentinian, but I believe was raised English and definitely had a British accent. Did they explain that and I missed it?
No.
No,
They just brushed over it completely.
yeah, it's just known that she's British
Yeah.
via.
Man stations, the Argentinians are at the gate.
So back in '86, Olivia Hussey was meeting with the producers for the film Roxanne. With Steve Martin.
Hussey.
I love Steve Martin.
I also love Steve Martin. But she was interested in, being cast as Roxanne. And Steve Martin met her and he said, quote, and this is per IMDb, "Oh my God, Olivia, you were in one of my all-time favorite films." Now, wouldn't one think that he would be talking about Romeo and Juliet? No,
I
he
guess.
was talking about Black Christmas. And he said that he'd seen it like 27 times.
I love that. I love him.
Probably more by now.
When I looked this movie up, it sent me to a website. 30 of the best Black Christmas movies.
The best Black Christmas movies?
Yeah.
There's only
Like-
3, aren't there?
No,
Which I
like
didn't know there were
I think he
3.
means like a black cast.
I'm talking about like Medea's Family Christmas and stuff like that.
Tell me that wasn't on the list though.
I can't remember.
You remember what was?
Extremely
You remember what
white.
the top? Remember like the top 5? What are the top 5 from that list?
I say Almost Christmas, The Perfect Holiday.
End of list.
That was 2.
Hang on. Sorry.
Mm.
Holiday Rush, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, The Holiday Calendar,
Well, there's
The
5
App
right there.
That Stole Christmas, Operation Christmas Drop.
I think
That's 7.
we're done. I don't think we need all 50.
A political aid that is tasked with shutting down a tropical base that provides airborne Christmas gifts to people in need right before Christmas.
So it's like a shoot off of Operation Dumbo Drop.
Yeah. What was
Okay.
that movie, Air America, with Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr.? That was a good movie.
I thought
Well-
this was a good movie.
Yeah, Air America was good. Operation Dumbo Drop was great. But Black Christmas, it was fucking fantastic. And
I've
as
never
you might
seen this
guess,
one.
you hadn't seen this one. Did you see the 2000 whatever remake?
I saw neither of the 2000s remakes. I had not seen any of these.
Good.
There's
Don't waste your
another
time
remake?
on the 2000s remakes.
I heard the 2019 one is actually not that bad, but it's the middle one that sucks a lot.
Wait a minute, the 20 what teen?
I could be wrong. I thought it was 2019. Let me check. Yeah,
There's a
2019.
2006 and a 2019.
Apparently,
Okay, the 2006 I
one
thought
is
was okay.
Terrible.
What?
Well,
I thought it was
He-
pretty bad.
people thought differently, Billy.
Well,
I haven't
I'm,
It's
seen
got a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm judging it off all the hammers in it.
Well, that's different. The 2019 one has 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. Still not great. This one had 71% though.
Oh, Lord.
This one had 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for a horror movie, especially like one of the first real slashers, it's perfectly respectable.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they don't get very high scores, but like as you might guess, this film takes place over one of the most important holidays in all the world, Columbus Day,
That is not an important holiday.
and it didn't even happen. It didn't even happen here. But it does. It takes place on Christmas. All right. And the first lines of this film, the very first things you hear out of anybody, who left the goddamn front door open? Setting the expectations early. And the would-be Santa Claus says, "What time do the little bastards arrive?" This movie's already off to a great start for me. The Santa Claus who hates kids, taking the Lord's name in vain on Christmas.
And we
Two
left the
things,
door open,
and left the
wasting
door open. Okay.
electricity.
3 things right there that I love. But, meanwhile, we've got an unknown voyeur / stalker just kind of chilling outside the house. No backstory to that. Like no cold open of any traumatized teen seeing Santa kill his mom or bang his dad. I don't know. Just a creeper doing creeper shit.
with a shaky camera, might I add.
Was the camera shaky through the whole film?
Kind of, but this was especially bad. Every time you're seeing from the killer's perspective, it was pretty rough.
Maybe he's got Bell's palsy.
You know, I
don't think that's what that is.
But maybe I should.
I could see how having a paralyzed half of his face would cause the camera to be shaky. Do you mean
It
Parkinson's?
was shaky, though.
Yeah. Parkinson's.
Amateur gynecologist right there, guys. Well, listen.
I don't look at faces for a living, Bill.
You sure don't. Well, you know, I noticed that while the opening graphics there, the Black Christmas with all the names, the opening credits, that screen was super shaky. And I thought to myself, was that specifically done because they want you to think it's the killer looking at the house, and like maybe the second time you watch it, or maybe it's just shitty camera work? I don't know.
They had yet to invent the tripod.
Well, the point of view shot, when the killer climbs up the house, the rig was actually designed and it was attached to the actor's head.
GoPro.
That's GoPro before GoPro was GoPro.
Right.
The OG GoPro.
Maybe it was intentional. I think the camera shaking was meant to be,
I think it's definitely meant to be when he's wandering around and you see him doing stuff. Just in the initial where they're showing, like Billy said, the name of the movie and the cast. That was like casually shaky. Like shaky enough to notice, but not like shaky cam. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess if I'm the director, in hindsight, I'm saying, yeah, I meant to do that. It's meant to be like the killer's looking at the house.
For sure.
Fun
for
fact,
sure.
tripods were invented in 1820.
Did you fact check me?
Old Snopes
indeed.
Brown over there.
Tripods were around when this film was produced.
I would
to
think
hear.
so. Because you look
They
at
just
those
couldn't
old
afford
timey,
one.
yeah, you look at those old timey pictures, and you've got the guy hiding under the little curtain behind the
I think you
camera.
had to sit still for a really long time for old pictures too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, like a week or so. It was something
Okay.
something egregious. But as mentioned by Ricardo Marfelbon over there, we've got Margot Kidder,
Thanks, Donnie.
a goddess in her own right. May she rest in peace. She's probably the first Lois Lane that many of us knew. Maybe not you, Casey. You probably saw that damn Tori Hatcher on Lois and Clark.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Superman movie, and that's just hitting me right now.
Not a one?
I don't know if I have. I know her from the Amityville Horror.
Okay. I mean, that would be the preferred place to know her from.
I don't
Being
think
that
I've
this is
seen any Superman movies, though, because I didn't see, like, Justice League, the other ones, the
You didn't see the one where Tom Hardy was Superman?
What?
Tom Hardy's never been Superman.
Billy
God, James, why don't you
Joel.
shut up? Why don't you just shut your face, James?
Why
The
would you do
origins
that
of
to
the
me?
tripod are lost in prehistory. Probably some prototype human noticed that when three branches leaned against each other, they braced each other in a stable position. Sometime later, someone tried hanging something from the apex, and so it goes.
Thanks, History Channel.
Listeners, I have to tell you that Billy and I are fighting because I just found out that Tom Hardy is in the show Peaky Blinders, and his bitch ass didn't tell me.
I did not realize that I had to be the one.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we're talking about a tripod. Tom Hardy, okay?
I love Tom Hardy.
I know. That's why I thought I was going to get you with the Superman thing. But
Well,
no,
you did for a
James has to
second.
swing in through the fucking bar and punch the bartender and smash a mug over his own head and ruin the day. But hey, Margot Kidder's wearing a choker in this first opening scene. That means she's good to go, right?
I mean, she enjoys fashion and likes necklaces.
What about Olivia Hussey?
Listen,
What
Still,
about
Rick,
her?
She's still beautiful.
Rick,
Hussy.
this film has no shortage of absolute hammers. Okay, like
That's what I'm saying.
the large majority might be turbo bitches, but hey, I'm down with a little mistreatment. I mean,
I
being
love
on
Andrew
the
Martin.
being on the business end of some well thought out insults, I'm down with it. Who's with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea Martin, though, with that hair,
Mm-hmm.
babe.
Listen. Andrea Martin plays Phyllis or Phil. You'll know her from that, the immaculate curls and the glasses, absolute ball peen hammer, and I feel like it might fly under the radar because of the cast here.
Not my radar.
No, I wouldn't think so. I never saw her with those curls after this flick, but damn. Rick, James, Rick, what's the verdict on Phil? Mistletoe or mistle-no?
Mistletoe.
Yeah.
Who?
The one with the curly hair, with like the
God
curly
damn it.
short hair.
As if I didn't give enough of an explanation of who I was talking about.
What's her name?
Andrea Martin.
Andrea Martin.
Phyllis in Black Christmas, James.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess I should have said Phyllis. Might be.
The
She
only
does a
one
lot of
with
voice
curls and
acting.
glasses.
Yeah,
Ton of
she
voice
is.
acting. Like a lot of Nickelodeon
I didn't realize
stuff.
that. Yeah, I had no. I'm looking
She's
at
the
it
new
now.
Masters of the Universe
Is she?
as She-Ra.
Nuh-uh.
I wouldn't doubt it, man, because she's doing a lot of those, done a lot of those cartoon voiceovers.
Damn,
Is she
she
really
has
doing
done
that
a lot.
Masters of the Universe?
Yeah. Mistletoe.
See, I knew you could get behind it, James. So we already mentioned Margot Kidder, who plays Barb, but Black Christmas wasn't her only horror credit. She was Laurie Strode's psychiatrist, I think, in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Oh shit, that was her.
Yeah. And
I
of
don't
course,
know,
you
but
already
she
said.
kind of got a schnoz on her.
I think that's hot though.
Are we still on Andrea Martin, or are we back on Margot Kidder?
She got a tripod for a nose, Bill. Come on.
That's
I'm
mean.
okay with it. You already deemed it mistletoe though, so you can't take it back. Quincy's no startsies.
She's a Triple H of this picture.
She's not the Triple H of this picture, James. She is not the Triple H.
Woo, that's a good one. Now you tell me who
Definitely
the Triple H is of this damn picture. Then I'm sitting here looking at all this cast. And I
how
haven't
about?
seen no schnoz like the schnoz I seen on that one.
Well, we've got Keir Dalia. Okay, let's talk about him for a minute. Like, there aren't like many hammers of the penile persuasion on my hammer list, but sometimes you just got to give credit where it's due. And like, this man's got them steel blue eyes that say, "I'll break into your home, cut your throat in your sleep, slap your wife, kick your dog, make myself a sandwich, and you will thank me for it."
And I'll be wearing an immaculate turtleneck the whole time.
The whole time. And of course, Rick mentioned Keir is best known for, other than his eyes. I think you mentioned 2001 A Space Odyssey. I don't know if you did mention that, Rick. Did you?
No, because I mentioned the other huge person, John Saxon.
That is true. So yes, 2001 A Space Odyssey, the Kubrick sci-fi jam. Title role there. Or not, the lead role, rather, not title. His name isn't 2001. Where are we at on Dalia? He looks very different in this movie than he did in 2001.
Well, we all change. I look different than I did in 2001.
Well, that brings me to my hammer for Black Christmas. Can anybody think of what they were doing when they were 15?
Me personally?
Yes, you personally.
Nothing beneficial to my later years.
Well, Olivia Hussey was out there just winning Golden Globes. Okay, she played Juliet in, per IMDb, one of the most celebrated roles ever written in the English language. That almost sounds like one of those Will Ferrell, Dr. James Lipton quotes. Greatest movie written by humans. But for Romeo and Juliet in 1968, I'm pretty sure that was only like 2 years removed from having men play all the parts. Pretty sure that's accurate.
2.
Yeah, 2 years. But yeah, Olivia Hussey, Hammer of the Gods.
Hussey.
She's your number one?
That's numero uno. What say thee?
Oh,
Nah.
I agree. She's still. I mean,
Rick
she's
can't
still
even get it
stunning,
out.
Even she's still stunning, even and she's 70 today. She still looks good.
Calm down, Rick. He's sitting over there. That thing's so hard a cat couldn't scratch it. Calm down, Rick.
I feel sorry for the cat.
Yeah.
But she's gorgeous in Romeo and Juliet. When we watched that freshman year in high school, I was like, damn, hello.
That was the one we watched too, but I felt even worse. Like, I felt 20 times worse as, like, the way I felt like seeing her in Jesus of Nazareth on TV. Like, I'm like, whoa, this is some sin waiting to happen. And here I am watching a Jesus TV show and wanting to treat my body like an amusement park.
James, who is your Hammer nomination?
She
James,
looked
did you watch this movie?
Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
I'll take that as a no.
Agreed.
So Olivia plays Jess in Black Christmas, and we're talking about
John.
Definitely not, but we're talking about Thor's hammer right here. Okay, she gets my vote, because, in this thing, looking only as she can look, all the way live. But this whole thing's an ensemble. Those are just some of the standouts, and these standouts early on are getting these obscene, moaning phone calls. Now, we've already seen someone sneaking in the house. This phone call would suggest, unless I don't know anything about phones, that there's someone outside the house too. If we're to assume this prank caller's up to no good, right?
And this prank caller is nasty.
Oh, he's downright filthy.
Well, and I was kind of surprised at the use of the word cunt. Did that throw you guys off a little bit for it to be the mid 70s and them to use that just real casually?
Oh, I unzipped immediately.
I mean, pride and throw off our Australian listeners.
Yeah, well, okay. I bet it was Olivia Hussey that said, hey, over in England, they use this word like a the.
Right.
In Canada, though? Don't know.
Well, it's, British Columbia, so. Well, I pulled that out of my ass quick. I'm so proud of myself there. But did anybody catch Margot Kidder's Dorothy Zbornak moment here? I had to listen to it twice just to get the proper laughs out of it. But somebody asked if, could it just be one person? And she replies,
I laughed
no.
really hard at this.
She said, no, it's the Mormon Tabernacle Choir doing their annual obscene phone call. I felt like that was the Dorothy Zbornak moment.
It was. I agree.
I appreciated it so much.
No, that was really funny, though. But the phone call is, obviously it's obscene, but listening to it, I was like, holy shit, this is really gross.
Yeah, and it kind of lets you know, though, what kind of movie you're in for. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill scary movie. No, they're going to get filthy. Don't let this group of women, these women actors, come in and make you think that you're watching some bubblegummy type, movie. No, they're fucking getting down and dirty, and you got the right fucking cast for it. But, Margot also had a fail later on when she wakes up from her nightmare. She said, I dreamt a stranger came into my room. I saw him, and that's what gave me asthma.
That's how that works.
Yeah, not an asthma attack, but that's what caused the actual asthma that she's already got an inhaler for. So I like to kind of cancel those two out. The Zbornak moment was fantastic. But, you were talking about the language, and the language on this prank call makes even me blush. She says, why don't you go stick your tongue in a wall socket? And please, I know a professional virgin when I see one. Barb's already got the answers. So they're in good hands with the comebacks.
I thought it was interesting because the girls react pretty blasé to, they're not shocked. They're not really terribly put off. They're quick with a comeback, but finding out later, the original script that they filmed with the phone calls was not nearly as vulgar. The director read out some dialogue, but they added in post-production the coarse language that we hear when we watch the movie. So, because I was like, damn, I think I'd at least make a face or something if someone said something like that. Some of the nasty ass shit that he was saying, I think I would,
No, you're not wrong. They made a few changes to this film, and one of them was the kills were originally going to be a lot more gruesome. They dialed that back a little bit. You would have thought maybe the language would have been the same thing, or maybe they said we'll compromise, we'll clean up the kills, and just double down on the bad language.
Apparently,
yeah. Well,
let me say them tender rules.
Well, one of the girls, Claire, is off put by Barb and goes to finish packing, and that's one of the rules. You don't break away from the group. Even if you don't realize you're in a horror flick, you don't break away from the group. She gets suffocated with a plastic dress cover. I don't know what you call them. But there's a killer in the house, and he's hiding up in the attic.
It's a cool-looking kill.
And they show just enough of it to make it look convincing.
Well, and we go on to see her in the plastic bag later in the movie, which looks very cool. Yeah, multiple times. Which looks very cool. Apparently she had to poke a hole in it so she could, lie there and breathe. But it's also, if you look at the poster for the movie, it's a little drawn version. I know Billy's got it up behind him for us to see, but y'all can't. If you look up the movie poster, it's got the little Her sitting in a rocking chair with the plastic bag over her face.
Yeah, totally used to sell this flick. A garment bag. There you go. See, I needed that.
I mean, it's a great kill. I mean, if you think of slasher movie kills, most people don't get suffocated by a plastic bag.
It's not my favorite kill of the movie, but I'd give it like 4 slashes.
Yeah, it's early. I'll take 4. 4 sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I ain't buying none of it, Bill. All kinds of people have been strangulated by a plastic bag.
Okay, give me some examples.
Yeah,
I can think of Child's Play.
There's
I
one.
love Child's Play.
No, you don't get to take credit for mine, James. There have been plenty, so you need to tell me what are the other plenty. I said Child's Play. Give me more. I didn't think so, you rat bastard.
But looking at the women in this movie, you know, we talk about it's a sorority house, right? And we've got like the house mom and everything. And I thought it was cool reading the trivia. Bob Clark, who directed the movie, set a rule for himself that when writing the characters, he never wanted to objectify them sexually or give them nude scenes. He wanted them to come off as real people and not disposable horror characters waiting to die. And we do see a fair amount of, you know, female characters in horror movies that are, in Billy's words, do nothing bitches, who aren't really representative of their own opinions, thoughts, you know, actions, and are just kind of there to move the plot along by being murdered. And I felt like these girls were, like, for what we see of them, relatively well developed. Like, we see personality out of them. We see them interact with each other. We've got this whole plot line about this girl wanting to get an abortion, which is really timely because Roe v. Wade was in 73, I think, and this is 74.
Oh, yeah, it's fresh on the mind.
Yeah.
Developed all right.
And this group of actors is very seasoned. Like these aren't just, you know, this isn't like watching the OC or something where this is like their breakout. Oh, well, hang on, like that whole show is full of brand new actors.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what you were saying about the OC, and I immediately was up in arms. Man. Defend the OC till I die.
Offensive coordinators.
Yeah, that's what the show's about. Marsha,
is that a football show?
Misha Barton. Misha Barton's an offensive coordinator.
Football show.
And the guy
and
the guy that plays Commissioner Gordon on Gotham.
I don't watch Gotham.
Jim Gordon. He's not
Jack LaRue.
Who?
Billy Jack LaRue. These actors are more seasoned than that pork butt I smoked earlier.
Okay, so like the panic is delayed after, you know, Claire's murder because nobody's going to find her immediately. It's going to take a while. She's behind a locked bedroom door. Corpse rocking in it. Yeah, okay. It was going to come to me eventually.
I didn't realize he was in Gotham. Makes me want to watch Gotham. Anyway, go on.
Well, so Claire's corpse is rocking in a chair with plastic over her face, and her poor dad's there looking for her. Like nobody ever just decides to bang on the door.
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
So having seen Scream well prior to ever seeing this, I can really only draw comparisons to that after Jess's boyfriend Peter calls her on the phone. Like the signs of him not being there, and just knowing the crazy boyfriend trope's been, you know, it had to originate somewhere. Like it's got me suspicious of Pete, and I don't even know him yet. But I mean, anybody else feel that early on, like immediately from the phone call?
You didn't get that from him personally? He was kind of a weird dude.
You hadn't seen him yet.
No, I know, but it didn't also occur to you later on.
Well, I'm saying at this point in the movie, at the time of the phone call, I'm getting a thought that, okay, this is the boyfriend on the phone. He's not present. The crazy boyfriend thing has been done to death over the years, and it had to originate somewhere. So why not originate at the one of the first real slasher films?
I did not think that. I thought it later when we met him.
Okay. See, I was thinking it on the phone call.
Yeah.
Well, we've got more reason to suspect him, though. Like, Jess is pregnant.
Thought that deal.
Oh, shut up, James. I thought it, and I know somebody else thought it.
Oh, wasn't nobody else on the podcast.
Well, we've got reason to suspect Peter now, though, because Jess is pregnant with his baby, and she wants to get an abortion. Peter wants to have the baby. They don't see eye to eye.
Could this be
motive? Yeah, could this be motive to kill? Like, you kill my baby, I kill you and your sorority sisters. Like, I know the conversation happens after the first death, but like, was there prior knowledge of the pregnancy?
That don't make no sense, Bill.
It could make sense. Was there prior knowledge of the pregnancy, prior to the phone call?
Why would you kill her if you want the baby? She has to have the baby before you kill her.
Because she's going to have an abortion.
She's going to have an abortion. Like, if you're going to kill my baby, I'm going to kill you.
Whoa.
Well, that's
not you guys. Well, yeah, but we're talking about a movie about murder, James.
Murder. Who did it?
Well,
who did do it?
Are we playing Crack the Case?
So Barb and company are at the police station to declare Claire missing. Did you
do that on purpose, or did it just happen?
It just happened. I don't remember the context, but why was Barb giving the officer some password? It was fellatio something.
It was fellatio.
Why was she giving him the password?
I think she's funny. I think she knows she's funny, and I think she did it on
purpose. What was the password for? What was the password for, though?
Was it a phone thing?
It could have been.
I thought it was like some kind of phone situation that old people would know about.
You know, hearing the word fellatio reminds me.
I don't know what I want to hear from this.
Well, whatever it is, you're going to love it. So, when I used to be a little more churchy than I am now, and I remember this lady asked me, what is my church's attitude towards fellatio?
That is such a specific question.
Why would somebody ask you that?
Who asked you this?
So I said, well, I'd like to tell you, but unfortunately, I don't know what fellatio is. And so...
How old are you here?
So she showed me.
Billy, I hate your ass.
And now...
Bold-faced lie to me.
And now anytime someone asks me, what is the church's idea towards fellatio, I respond, well, I'd like to tell you, but unfortunately, I don't know what fellatio is.
You're annoying.
Guys, that was great. That would be an old bit from Rowan Atkinson. And it just reminded me of that. Do you know who Rowan Atkinson is, Casey?
Yeah, he's Mr. Bean, and also I think he's Zazu in The Lion King.
And Johnny English, yeah, that's the guy. He had a stand-up routine like in the early 90s, more like various bits, and he played a priest in one of them, and he told that joke. Well, I'd like to tell you. Okay, so Jess goes to the hockey rink to ask about Claire, and I'm guessing this is what, Claire's boyfriend playing hockey?
Presumably.
Yeah, okay, so, he's wearing the hockey mask, and it's not unlike... He said hockey. And not unlike the one that Jason Voorhees would wear.
So, seeing this scene, I kind of had a flash moment where I don't really watch hockey. I keep saying this is going to be the year that I get into hockey, but so far I haven't. I don't really watch hockey. I realized that the only real connotation I have for a hockey mask is Jason. So when I saw this, I was like, wait, this is before Friday the 13th, part 3. But then I remembered that, oh yeah, hockey masks are a thing outside of the Friday the 13th franchise.
And what's wild to me is that mask is what goalies would wear back then.
It's wild, because wild.
Now they wear a whole protective helmet with a face mask on it.
And before that, they didn't even wear any masks, which is insane.
And before, yeah.
So you're just getting popped in the teeth by a hockey puck? No,
yeah.
That is why hockey players were infamous for having no teeth.
Ugh, that sucks.
And before they swam around and played.
What?
Before the water froze.
Before they froze the ice.
Okay.
So listen, if they don't want me to think Peter's behind all of this, they're doing a terrible job with the piano scene.
Holy shit, that scene was so intense.
Yeah, he's playing for this panel of judges. I think Simon Cowell's one of them. Paul Abdul wasn't there because there's only room for one drunk lady in this film. But he's sweating his balls off. He's sweating like he's shitting out a hand grenade.
Sweaty. I watched this with a small group of people. We were laughing a lot about the fact that this man is drenched in sweat.
We get it, Casey. You got friends.
Well,
good camp going.
I will brag once more, Billy, which is that our friend of the pod, Steven, who is Swords on Twitch.
Not old Steven.
Steven said That the guy saying like all the weird things, including the word Billy, should be your ringtone.
I would like that. If I liked ringtones, I would love that. I haven't had a ringtone since I don't know when, but I can tell you right now that I'm not in any hurry to get another one, but if I did, that would be it.
What was your last ringtone? You have a ringtone now in the year of our Lord 2021, Rick?
Yeah,
what is
my
it?
ringtone is the Halloween theme.
Of course it is.
Y'all don't have ringtones? What do you...
Nah.
My phone is on vibrate at all times.
Mine's not. I'll check it periodically, and that's it.
Billy, what was your last ringtone?
The codec sound from Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
I had a ringtone.
What was your last ringtone?
The best sound ever invented.
I don't know if that's
the last ringtone I had was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Jingle All the Way saying, "Put that cookie down now!" And it just replay that over and over. Hey, that's a good one.
It's pretty good, James.
You remember when they used to have what was that thing called when you called and got a tone?
Ring back.
I had a ring back tone one time.
What was it?
I'm trying to remember what that was, James.
Tone.
I remember calling you and you had a ringback tone. I can't remember what it was though.
Hey Billy, was it this?
Oh God, don't do that. I hate that.
Yeah, that's the very one.
Hell yeah.
That's when you know Colonel Campbell's calling your ass and you better answer him.
Y'all had weird ringtones, not just like normal songs.
Was it Push It? Or was it something Salt and Pepper? Or was it something else?
Salt and Pepper. God, you fucking...
Salt and Pepper! No, I'm so horny. I'm so horny. No, that wasn't it. What was it?
Well, that would be me so, not I'm so.
That's what it was. Oh, me so horny.
Oh my God, that's a mess. Y'all had weird ass ringtones.
The last ringback tone I had was a Steve Earle song, Guitar Town.
I never had a ringback tone, just ringtones.
So, Barb, aka Margot Kidder, is going through some emotions here. She's jokey one minute, defensive the next. Basically about having insulted Claire earlier, which means if she doesn't insult Claire, Claire doesn't go upstairs to pack, which means she doesn't get asphyxiated. Okay, nothing makes murder, from the outside easier than turmoil from the inside.
That makes sense.
It's deep. So the search is on for Claire. Okay, we've got the sorority sisters, Claire's father, Mr. Roper from Enter the Dragon. Hell, we might have to, Mr. Roper from Three's Company. A lot of people. And we've left Mrs. Mack back at the house with a man skulking around outside. Maybe Peter? I don't know.
Mrs. Mack, who is drinking on the low.
Oh, drinking on the low, on the high, and everywhere. She's got alcohol hidden everywhere.
In a Bible.
In the toilet.
Oh, yeah, the toilet. Yeah.
But, I thought our killer was inside the whole time. And I'm losing track of, the stalker logic. He's inside, he's outside. He's inside while outside phone calls are coming in. Like, who's keeping up with him? Because I'm not.
I just know that man is everywhere.
Like Santa Claus.
Aww. That's
Mrs. Mack
cute,
gets this,
right?
It was, and I'm glad I thought of it. But Mrs. Mack gets this suspicion and heads up to the attic where she finds Claire's body. And somehow sees the killer after doing a full 180 to see him behind her. Like, I don't... This little scene bothered me. Basically, she's sticking her head up. She's looking at 12 o'clock. The killer is at like 5 o'clock. Maybe even 6. And she turns around like she just knows the eyes are on her. But she got taken out with a hook on a pulley.
Here's the thing. Why did they have that in a sorority house?
It was the 70s.
Yeah.
What do you mean it was the 70s? They just had meat hooks in the 70s in every home?
I think there was a cargo hook of some kind to pull up
I don't know what that means.
Boxes and stuff like that. Like heavy boxes.
Pull up to where?
The attic.
Oh. I didn't know that was a thing. We just have a ladder.
I just made it up. I don't know. It makes sense to me, though.
I hate you.
I'm not making it up as a lie. I'm just saying, like, that's what I think.
Oh, well, I was confused as to why they had that in a sorority house, but that makes a little more sense if that's what it was. Crane hook is what
There you go.
Wikipedia calls it.
Yeah, crane hook sounds right to me.
Now I'm Googling what a crane hook is.
Well, that kill would have been an excellent visual, but I guess we're still keeping it subtle at this point. We know that they kind of pulled back from, some of the kills, but this one could have been good. We do see the aftermath later on. She's kind of hanging from that thing. But, I'm kind of worried at this point now because, Jess is in the house alone right after this. And I just know she's next, and I don't want it.
Is it because she's
what
cute?
Happens? Yes. But what happens? She's calling in the prank call report, and someone's sneaking up behind her down the stairs. It's a false finish, though, because it's Peter. First, what's he doing upstairs? What's he doing in the house?
Being a fucking weirdo?
Yeah, being a fucking weirdo. And it's okay, so is he killing people and why? Your questions can end in yes, no, yes and no, and irrelevant.
He's such a fucking weirdo. I did initially think that, because he's fucking weird and because we see him kind of patrolling the house in weird ways coming out of nowhere. But also I'd like to note that the cops who they contact about these calls and that they're being harassed and threatened and stuff, they are not taking these women seriously.
No, this is the same situation as when a stranger calls. The least helpful,
literally.
the least helpful operator, dispatcher there could be, and you get him. But Peter's leaving the conservatory. Too. Oh, so uninterested. But, Peter's leaving the conservatory. He wants to marry Jess, which she doesn't want. And now his last hope is the baby. That's strikes 1, 2, and 3 right there. So if all of this happens before our eyes, before the grisly murders, we've got more than enough motive to kill, right?
Right.
I would hope so.
So I don't know how long their conversation had been about the baby. We don't know if he had just learned about it on the phone. Surely he didn't just hear about it on the phone call at the beginning. Surely that was a second or third conversation and he's just trying to rehash it by the time that phone call rolls around.
I kind of assumed that it was his first time hearing of it just because of how fired up he was, that it felt like an initial reaction to me.
What a shitty way.
It's not a great way.
Yeah, not a great way. But Lieutenant Ken Fuller, aka Roper from Enter the Dragon, aka John by God Saxon. He's on the scene.
AKA the man who's been in everything.
Everything. Beverly Hills Cop 3, I'm pretty sure he was in that.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
John Saxon's a fucking legend. Is he still alive?
No, he died.
He died pretty recently, didn't
he? In Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
That's sad. Why?
His ship came in.
Complications from pneumonia. That's sad. Did he live here? Why did he live in Murfreesboro? Why?
Because he wanted to get away from California because his wife was tired of it.
And he was driven to Murfreesboro, Tennessee?
Murfreesboro's kind of uppity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Not the parts that I've been to.
Am I wrong?
Sure.
Am I right?
So, they've got the phones tapped, and... Oh, boy. You okay over there, James? Need a juice box?
Hong Kong Phooey, number one superhero guy. Y'all remember Hong Kong Phooey?
No idea. No idea.
Really?
How did that come up in your mind, James?
The guy, the Hong Kong Phooey.
What about this?
Enter the Dragon and every fucking thing else.
So we bring up one movie made in Hong Kong. Actually, was that a Hong Kong flick or was that a Hollywood flick?
Hong Kong Phooey. He was a janitor. This ties into several different things, Bill.
By all means, enlighten me.
He was a dog janitor. And when trouble started, he would jump into a filing cabinet in the top and come out the bottom, Hong Kong Phooey.
Dressed up cabinet.
Yeah. Dressed up in a gi and such. And he would go, "Hey, ah!" And he chopped the bad guy, Bill. It was a cartoon.
Billy,
It
answer your question. It was Hong Kong.
Enter the Dragon was Hong Kong?
In U.S.
It was filmed in Hong Kong and released in L.A. or premiered in L.A. apparently.
Okay. I guess my question is more like who made the movie? Was it a Hollywood studio or was it
says
one
Warner
of the
Brothers.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was a Hollywood movie, but I wasn't sure. That's obviously how they got John Saxon and Jim Kelly, and the American part of the cast.
Chuck Norris.
But Chuck Norris was definitely not in Enter the Dragon.
What was the karate movie with
Jim Kelly.
Abdul-Jabbar?
Wasn't that Game of Death?
It was something.
That was.
I don't know. I don't think it was
the
the Chinese Connection.
The 18th level of Buddha. You ever seen that one, Bill?
Never. But listen,
Not
when this
everyone
prank
can
caller
reach the 8th level of Buddha.
Listen. When this prank caller calls back, all we got to do is keep him on the line, and he's as good as cooked, right? I've always kind of liked these scenes. Like, guy calls in, we see the victim trying to keep him on the phone long enough to get a triangulated coordinate on the grid. Always really good suspense. They kind of lose it.
In 24, Bill. Every damn episode.
Yeah, it happens on 24, but it also happens. It happens on every movie though, where they've got a prank caller, doesn't it?
Getting ready to triangulate you, Bill.
Well, part of me was hoping all the little Christmas carolers were collectively the killer.
Oh my god. I love them.
Did you really?
Okay. Specifically, I love the girl getting hacked up while those little kids are singing. That scene was
that scene's
so
fantastic.
Cool. 5 slashes.
Yeah, 6 if we can give 6 extra credit.
Poor Barb.
Yeah. The little glass unicorn going in and out of her chest. I mean, listen, all those little kids were creatures, but that scene was fantastic. What say you, James and Rick?
Oh, it's a great scene. 5 for sure.
James didn't watch the movie, so
I bet you he didn't.
What is it? I've been interrupted by some ice cream.
Nothing. It's all good.
Ice cream. You ain't got.
So while Jess is distracted by the bad singing,
James is distracted by some ice cream.
James is distracted by some ice cream. The stranger is back with his asthma attack. Repeatedly stabs Barb to death in her own bed with a glass unicorn in a masterfully shot scene. But in an aggressive whisper, he announces that his name is Billy.
Shout out.
So, shout out. Yeah, thanks.
Is this
do
what
we
your parents
know?
named you after?
Probably.
Probably.
But do we know who this guy is yet, though? Like, I don't know if a Billy was ever talked about, and we didn't get any kind of cold open to explain any past transgressions.
No, I don't remember as many times I've seen this mention to Billy at all.
I mean,
other than when he says
no.
himself.
He's supposed to be the man upstairs, right? I mean, like, if we're looking at the urban legend, which, shout out to our first episode.
Hoorah.
When a stranger calls. But, I mean, he's just kind of the man upstairs character, right?
Yeah. No relationship to anybody, any victim or anything like that?
I think it's kind of interesting because the characters, who he is and what is making him do these things, they were intentionally omitted because filmmakers and creators of the movie felt that it made him more frightening, which critics and art historians have noted that by leaving the character like that, it lets us place our own fears on the character. So basically we project what we're scared of onto him, which is always interesting. I think it's cool when movies do that by not naming the title character or giving any descriptions of characters in books so you can imagine them yourselves and create your own fears and motivations for the character.
In other words, the man upstairs is actually a Sasquatch for James. He could be a killer clown for me. He could be...
I'm not scared of Sasquatch, Bill.
He could be a driving test for you, Casey. He could be a height requirement for a roller coaster for Rick. It really is our own fears.
Asshole.
Oh, God.
You don't feel that way about women.
I know. Isn't that the crazy part of it all?
You love women. You are
listen, the most important people in my life are women.
You're just an asshole to be an asshole.
And I just do it for the reaction. I don't, it's a problem I have. No brothers, all sisters. Okay, 2 nephews, but they came along later. The second one came along later. I've got, multiple nieces. And so, what am I doing? I think I just do it for the punchline.
Because you're annoying.
His hatred for women started at an early age.
When he realized he was outnumbered in the household.
Billy
Like
the phone caller might have a hatred of women from an early age, though, because he sure is murdering them.
Yeah, at a sorority. And we get the long-awaited post-tapped line phone call. A lot of bad audio, inaudible dialogue, jittery mumbling. Like, I can't make it out. But they can't triangulate because Jess couldn't keep him on the line long enough. Who saw that coming?
I thought I was watching an episode of this podcast.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm going to take it as a compliment. So we're not the only ones that have questioned Peter, though. Like, even Jess and Phil have some suspicions. Like, even if they aren't strong suspicions, Lieutenant Fuller's got the same suspicions, but they're a little bit stronger. Because he wants to focus on the abortion motive. Like, he's questioning the alibi, but Jess is sure it can't be Peter because he was there at one of the times of the prior calls. So, do you think that this is the movie kind of diverting us away from Peter? Because I think they went out of their way to make it look like he's guilty. And then they purposely give him the alibi.
It does kind of go back to the Billy and Stu thing from Scream. Makes you think it's the boyfriend, but maybe it's someone else. Boo!
Yeah, Scream put too much in my mind when I was trying to piece this together. But, you know, all good things
Scream
must come to an end.
features a sorority house, too.
Well, you know, I saw Scream 2 before I saw this one, so I'm probably coerced into believing certain things based off of a preconceived notion.
Yeah.
Maybe by accident, you know? But, you know, our, or at least my second hammer in command, and man is it close, Phil goes to check on Barb where she's implicitly attacked. All we see is the door close behind her and Phil with a startled look as the door shuts. But like all the kills prior, this one's followed by another phone call with the nonsensical ramblings of the killer. Like, why the screams can't be heard in the house, I don't know. But this time they're able to trace the call. And where the call's coming from?
Inside the house.
But that can't be right. That's
I love that part.
That house is where the calls are going to.
Yeah, he's like, the calls are coming or going to that house, you idiot. He's like, no, that's where they're coming from. Because they've already kind of set this guy up to be an idiot because he was the one who fell for the fellatio joke, right? So and they said he couldn't. What did they say? He couldn't. Damn. There's a part where they say something to him and they're like, you
something
couldn't
with
do this
instructions.
if it was yes.
And it was
really
something
funny.
It was like, you couldn't pull piss out of a boot if the instructions were written on the heel. That's one that comes to mind, but that's not what he said.
It was something like that, but it wasn't that. But it was really funny. But they've already kind of set this guy up to be a dumbass. So when he says, like, oh, the calls are, coming from 122 Water's Edge Lane, and they're like, no, that's where they're going to. And he's like, well, they're coming from there, too.
Okay, Casey, let me ask you a question.
No.
Why do women...
Why do we, Billy?
I don't know, but the officer that you're talking about there, he tells very clearly, Jess, in the clearest fashion possible, do as I say, no questions, just hang up the phone, walk to the front door, and leave the house. And he says it slowly, so she has no excuse not to understand, not that she's stupid or anything.
But she knows her friends are still in the house.
First thing she says, well, what's wrong? God damn it, Jess. And then she says,
same thing, though.
well, I'll just go get Phil and Barb. Oh, you stupid hammer. I don't like to be
you saying that you would not also be concerned for the other people in the house and want to go save them, too?
I just don't like to be disillusioned by my hammer picks, and this one did it.
Sometimes you fall in love with dummies.
That's what me and James.
But I'd probably do that. I'd probably do the same shit. So I'm the dummy.
Well, she doesn't listen. She goes up the stairs, opens Barb's door, and finds her and Phil in bloody messes on the bed, placed there by the killer who's hiding behind the bedroom door. Now we still only see an eyeball, but we have to know it's not
eyeball.
Oh gosh! It could have been like one of those cartoons where like the eyeball comes out of the hole and like looks at you. But we know it's not Peter because the eye color's brown. Not that I'm going to expect perfect continuity from a genre where we should never ever put logic into an illogical situation. But
damn, he did have like ice blue eyes.
I mean, steel blue.
I didn't connect that at all.
Yeah, so we're relieving Peter of a suspected part in this at this point, right?
Wrong. I wasn't because I'm stupid.
Okay, well, be that as it may not be, In the
Did
case
you guys
do
catch
notice
that, James and Rick? Well, Rick.
Yeah, I didn't. It's been
Rick
a while
didn't
since I
fucking
watched
know.
this. Coming back to it, but I remember it now that you guys are talking about it. Yeah, but I didn't catch it yesterday. Honestly, no.
James didn't even know he had eyes.
What's y'all's favorite type of ice cream?
Oh my god,
Cherry Garcia.
Neapolitan,
Which part of the Neapolitan?
Chocolate strawberry.
strawberry.
That's my brother's favorite part of the Neapolitan also.
I like Moose Tracks.
Are those peanut butter or caramel?
They're like the peanut butter cups, right?
Okay, I like those too.
Honorable mention to Rocky Road, though.
I
Very
like
close.
strawberry. If I'm not eating Cherry Garcia, I like strawberry best.
Cherry Garcia.
I like orange sherbet too.
Sherbet.
Huh?
Sherbet.
Oh, well, you said caramel or whatever you said it weird. So
Caramel.
we're not starting this.
Oh, how do you say caramel? Caramel.
Caramel.
I say 3 syllables, but still with a R instead of a air. Billy.
Is it by itself or on an apple?
Wait, you say a different?
Yeah.
Okay, apple
Caramel.
and regular is caramel.
If it's just like one of those little squares from what is
Werther's Originals or whatever.
Nah, those are the little circular oval things. Talk about these little square cubes. Square cubes. These cube caramels that can just chewables. Chewables. It's all chewable. They're little caramel chews. I can't remember the brand name, but those are caramel, and then what goes on an apple is caramel.
James.
Caramel.
Where David Koresh lived was Mount Carmel.
Caramel daddies. You ever had a caramel daddy?
I've had a sugar daddy.
No, you have not.
Yeah. Look, the sugar daddies were like candy on a stick. It was caramel on a stick.
Ah, that's
Maybe
As
that's
opposed
wrong.
to as
that's
opposed
the ones
to
I'm familiar with.
yeah, the sugar daddies were on a stick like a sucker, and then sugar babies were like little. They were like the size of Raisinets.
Do you remember Charleston Chews?
No, Grandpa.
What is a Charleston chew? Like, I've heard of that, but what is it?
Y'all know what a cowtail is?
No.
It's caramel and marshmallow.
Ew.
Right.
I'd be wired after that.
All
right.
Make anymore.
Moving on, guys. So we see the eyeball. Okay, we can't relieve Peter of his suspected part in this. A, because that means you're expecting continuity out of this movie, and horror flicks were just not a thing. So maybe it could have gone under the radar. Oh, wait a minute, our killer, our stunt double had blue eyes or brown eyes, and he's got blue eyes, so he fucked it up completely. Well, it's hard to do because no quicker than Jess gets out of the killer's grasp, here comes fucking Peter yelling into the basement window where Jess is hiding. He breaks the window to get in, and if he's there to be a hero, I don't know what could have tipped him off that any fuckery is afoot in this house at this point. And I'm looking at his eyes. There's no contact lenses to make him seem brown-eyed. At this point, even with the convenience of his appearance, I'm holding out hope that he's not a real scoundrel. What say you?
I think he kind of sucks. Don't love the guy, but I don't know. I think at this point I'm still yet to relieve him of the role of the killer.
Well, as police arrive, we hear Jess's screams coming from the house. And when she's found, there we see Peter, dead, lying in Jess's lap. And Jess appears to be dead until they call her name. Moments later, we're with Jess, the police, and Claire's father as Jess lays in bed in recovery. They're talking about Peter in past tense, saying that they can't believe he'd done such a thing, and like the usual things you'd say about a killer that you never expected. I can only imagine like that a theater full of people in 1974 thinking, damn, I knew it was him.
I don't know, man. I think you caught some stuff I didn't.
Well, in the attic of the sorority house, along with the dead bodies of Mrs. Mack and Claire, still lurks the crazed killer. It was not Peter.
It was not. Much to my dismay, personally.
Yeah. It's an unknown individual. Possibly
Really?
Possibly just obsessed with one sorority sister one year and got rid of her and got the bloodlust and kept going. But with the police still outside, we hear the phone ringing, signifying that it's not over. Roll credits. Now, while this film has all the decoration and pageantry and the caroling in the one scene. There aren't really that many references to Christmas to make this feel Christmassy. But, like, I think this one should be a holiday staple in households across the Christmas celebrating world.
Might not be the most family-friendly one, but it's definitely a classic.
Most definitely. Rick, just give me your final thoughts on Black Christmas.
I mean, obviously I'm biased because I've seen it a bunch of times, but I mean...
Be biased, Rick. Be biased.
For me,
I'm biased
I mean,
all the time.
it's a really good film. I mean, it's probably one of the, I wouldn't say the first slasher film, but it's one of the earlier ones. And I mean, it's for a holiday movie, it's holiday horror movie. It's up there for me, honestly.
Listen, even if it wasn't one, the first slasher films, it was one of the first, and surely has to be the first Christmas horror film.
Yeah.
Or Christmas slasher film.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, to me, it's a classic in the horror genre as a whole.
Godfather, did you hate this one as much as I thought you would?
This movie was terrible.
He didn't watch it.
You didn't even watch it, James.
It made me sick to my stomach.
It's a long way to go to say I didn't see it. Casey, was this film naughty or nice?
I'll not sit here and listen to these accusations.
I'm going to sleep.
I will reveal my thoughts momentarily. I did want to say something about the movie that I read that I thought was kind of interesting, was that initially this movie, under the title Stranger in the House, which was yet another name for it, which is actually, if you try and find it on Rotten Tomatoes, it is under Stranger in the House. But
that's weird.
Isn't it?
Stranger in the House.
They did that with oh god, the Thanksgiving one that we literally just did.
Blood Rage.
Blood Rage was under its alternate title on Rotten Tomatoes as well. But this movie was supposed to premiere on NBC for its TV premiere in 1978, but 2 weeks prior to it's supposed to be coming on TV at Chi Omega in Florida State, there was a double murder against two Chi Omega sisters that were bludgeoned to death. And later, it was discovered that the killer was Ted Bundy, who was executed for this and a bunch of other things in 1989. And also, Ted Bundy sucked, wasn't that smart, and was not hot. I feel like the true crime weirdos out there glorify him, and he sucks. But anyway, fun fact about this movie. Not that fun, actually. Horrible fact about this movie. But I really like this movie. I hadn't seen it before. I knew it was a classic. I had heard of it, and I knew there was a remake too that wasn't thought of as fondly, but I knew that this movie was out there and just somehow never got around to seeing it. And I have a newfound appreciation for it, especially knowing that it's one of the original slasher films out there. And also for its multifaceted and well-developed female characters. Love that.
Well, Mary Elizabeth Winstead was in the 2006 version. So I'll not sit here and listen to you guys disparage the good goddamn name of Mary Elizabeth Winstead and her work.
I haven't seen it. I'm just saying what I've heard.
Okay. What did the critics think about this one?
Well, I did mention earlier that we had a 71% for it, which, like we said, pretty respectable. A good review is that Black Christmas is a holiday classic and a film that builds horror's foundations for more than its kills. It is with us 45 years later, at the time this was 2019, because of how it establishes tropes and how it presents a depiction of being a woman in a real and authentic way. A negative review of the movie was perhaps frightening in 1974. It really doesn't hold up today unless you can forget the 12,000 films exactly like it, which is difficult. And to that guy, I say, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah, you can eat a bag of dicks, bro.
Yeah.
Rob Gonsalves of efilmcritic.com on July 23rd, 2007.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, he needs to fap more often because he has got a bad opinion on things.
Don't love him.
No, and never will I. So, we need to know right now, Rick, what do we need to be finding for the next episode?
All right, so next week we're doing a slasher Christmas film titled Christmas Evil. Came out in 1980, so it should be a fun one.
Where can we find that one?
You can watch it on a amazing free streaming site, Tubi.
Tubi TV.
Nice.
I love Tubi.
I love when these are easier to find.
Tubi's a great service, by the way, for our listeners. They have some really good horror stuff on there.
Totally
it
free.
has a ton of horror stuff on there, and it is
Yeah.
free. You've got commercials, but get over it, you know?
I wish we could do watch parties on Tubi.
I know.
Hey, c'est la vie. Well,
We could
okay, that's
barely
going to
do a
do
watch
it.
party on Hulu.
That's true, too. Well, okay, so that's going to do it for this episode of Slashers and Screamers for The Godfather of Droll James, for Final Girl Casey, and for Memphis Menace Rick. I am Billy Graves. We'll catch you in the game.